My good people, you already know what it is. It's your boy B. We right back up at you cats with another video. My day is over. Well, the work day is over. Well, the work day and the office is over. We about to go home and do a little bit more of the things that we was doing earlier. And today, we're gonna speak about a new project that I just got, which is looking like it's gonna be a little bit of fun. I'm also gonna speak about a little bit of music, and then we're gonna speak about time. So we're gonna break it down like this. First, we're gonna speak about the music. Then after the music, we are going to speak a little bit about time. And then after that, we're gonna speak about the new project that I just got. Now, what's up? How y'all been? Hope everybody is good. It's been what? A couple hours since the last time y'all seen me. Y'all seen me going in. Now y'all seeing me come home, man. You know? But we got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot to talk about this evening. First thing I want to speak about is music, man. Music. Now, if y'all don't know, you should know. And music is one of my favorite pastimes, my people. It's something that has always held me down. What I mean is that I spent a lot of time just thinking, man. And I've always had a soundtrack. So I was one of those people who went to school early because I used to get dropped off way before school would start. And I would just sit there, have my Walkman, listening to music and things like that. And there was one thing that always made me feel relaxed and calm. This weekend, I was feeling a little claustrophobic, meaning everywhere I went, there was somebody. There was people pushing me in so many different directions this weekend, you know, with family in town and Christmas and things like that. And one thing that calmed me down was when I put on my headphones and just zoned out and I was listening to Redman. And just listening to Redman's lyrics combined with Eric Sermon's beats really put me into a relaxation mode. I don't know what it is about the music that just make me relax like that. So this morning, I was coming into work and I was listening to one of my favorite artists, and that's D'Angelo. Shout out to D'Angelo and rest in peace to D'Angelo. Now it's funny because I'm listening to D'Angelo, and then right after that, I started listening to Angie Stone because I believe that album is called Stone Love. That's one of my favorite R&B albums ever. Angie Stone went off in that. And I noticed two things. The first thing I noticed is that D'Angelo was one smooth brother, man. That was a smooth brother, man, for real. He was like the embodiment of neo soul era. And when I listen to his music, like it get me in such a cool and calm, relaxing mode. The beats are always crazy. Deciphering D'Angelo's lyrics is something in itself, because half the time he be mumbling, you don't know what that man be talking about. But once you figure it out, it's good. And you know, D'Angelo's music, it make you just naturally want to move around, man, and dance. And I noticed, like I could throw that on and I could listen and just work for as long as the music goes. And I'm dancing, I'm happy, and it's making me feel good, man. So I'm listening to that, and I'm listening to the whole vibe of D'Angelo's music and the stuff that he talk about, falling in love with women, feeling that in love, the emotion of feeling in love. It's crazy. Then I just happened to throw on that someone like Angie Stone says. And I'm sure a lot of her music was written off of the pain that she was feeling from love. And I compare and contrast the styles. And it's like, damn, the Angie Stone music was very, like she played a victim in a lot of her music. And I listen and I'm like, damn, can I make that generalization and say that a lot of women's music is about heartbreak and falling in love with a man and getting their hearts broken? Could I say that that's true? I don't know. But it felt like that, man. And then that got me into thinking about modes and moods that people want to be in. And I start to think like, is media, the stuff that we consume, does that make us feel some type of way? Or do we want to feel some type of way? And then we put on that music and that music just makes us feel that type of way, you know? I don't know. It's just something interesting that I thought about, you know? And I always think about little crazy stuff like that, you know? Like, do we put on music to put us in a mood? Or do we want to feel in that mood and then throw that type of music on? Or even set that type of setting in our life, man, for real. You know? I'm an advocate that your mind is what creates your reality. So you can consume things that make you feel some type of way. How you doing? Y'all better hit that like button, man, when you step in, man. Stop playing. Yeah. How you doing? All right. Exactly. You heard her, man. Hit that like button, man. Word. So, you know, I always think about that, man. You know, I was even thinking about that with the hood. Does the hood attract certain type of people, or do the people in that neighborhood make the hood? You know? I be thinking about shit like that, you know, all the time. Yeah. So this got me also into thinking about time, man, and about time, and then the music. Because I said, when I do listen to music now, it's always in a constructive mode. So that means that I'm listening to it and I'm writing. You know, I listen to music that make me want to write. Things like D'Angelo, stuff like Angie Stone, things like Carl Thomas, people like that. They make me want to write. Marvin Gaye, those types of music make me want to write. And I tend to listen to that type of stuff and I start to write now. I write and I also study, read, and I do work. Now, this is completely different than when I was in my 20s. When I was in my 20s, you know what I did? I used to listen to music just to rap it, not do anything else, to act like I'm tough or feel tough. I used to listen to music and drink and, you know, just dance the whole night away, son. Go to the spot. Like, in my 20s, I was still in school, of course. I was still studying. You know, I don't know how I did it. I was the type that, like, you know, I think I did tell y'all, where I would miss class a lot. And then, like, when it was boiling down to it, I would finally come to class, I would hand in all my assignments, and I would ace the final. That's how I kind of got through school before I got a little bit more mature, after I got sick. But before I got sick, in my 20s, I would listen to music, drink, go to the spot, try to holler at chicks, try to do what I could do with them. And it was just a whole bunch of wasted time, man. If I could get that time back, I always told myself that I would do something constructive with that time, my people. Constructive with that time. But you can never go back in time, my people. You can never go back in time. But what you can do is learn from that time, so you won't make the same mistakes. So now, like I said before, what I find myself doing now is very constructive with that time that I used to just spend around wasting. So it's a most interesting thing. I could be doing what I'm doing something constructive, things that's gonna push the arrows further in my life while listening to that music, and it feel like I'm going back in time and correcting all the wrongs that I did in the past, son. And it's a crazy thing because I remember being a wide-eyed child, going to the Borders, going to bookstores, listening to the music that they would throw on there, and just thinking that the world was in front of me, like I could do anything. A 21-year-old feeling like I got the world ahead of me, I got all the time in the world, death means nothing, you feel like you're immortal, and you feel like you could do whatever. And those are the type of feelings that I'm getting back, my people. Those are definitely the feelings that I'm getting back. And it's crazy because this brings me to something that I've been telling y'all, man. With all the work I've been putting in, last week, I sent something to some of my staff members. And I told them, like, yo, this is what we're going to be needing to do. This is something that we're going to need to do because if we want to make a difference, this is the type of stuff we have to put out. Now, peep it. Today, my direct manager, who's the officer of the department, he got word from the VP that this is exactly what the hell they want to do now. And it's crazy because I remember back in college, right? There'd be times where I get a test and I ain't prepared for it at all. And I'm like, shit, son, that was nothing. All I had to do was take some of that time I was doing nothing and put it to something positive, and I would be prepared. And taking up and behaving the way I'm behaving now, I'm ahead of it, man. I'm already ahead of the curve. And I got reports in my head that I already know that I'm gonna do. And it's reports that they don't even know that they need, son. Reports that they don't even know that they need. So by the time they catch up to that and start asking for the things that I already did, fams, I'm gonna be months ahead of that. You know? Months and months ahead of it. And it just feels good to be working in the future, right? So, y'all wanna know exactly what we talking about? This is what we talking about, man. We wanna decrease the complaints, safety complaints, right? So how would you go about decreasing safety complaints or complaints in general? If you run the department and you in charge of statistics and you in charge of like a performance, let's say you have someone that you contract to do rides, to do whatever for you. How would you go about improving their performance if you don't necessarily control their staff? You know? And I figured out the way you do that is by detailed information, detailed and structured information, you know? So what I was thinking and what, I train people to think about is, not just have a reporting system, because you can't just have a reporting system. A reporting system is nothing but hard numbers. And where I work, that's all they've been doing was just reporting. They've been saying, well, this happened. And then they found it's not a database, but it's a whole system to store this stuff. And it's just a one-way street where they say this happened, and then, you take the details of it, and then you send it to the people who is in charge of it, and then they tell you, oh, well, we did this, we did that. So it's like a way of tracking things, and it's a shiny new system that has great colors, and it looks good, but at the same time, it's non-functional. Non-functional because, number one, the data that's inside of this system isn't even formatted to be structured, and it's not even formatted to be analyzed. So the first thing that I attempt to do is to take that and then clean the data. You try to clean the data. So that's the process that we're doing tonight when I get home, is to try to clean a whole year's of data, a whole year of data. And it's difficult because, again, that tracking system wasn't complete. And it's like people are putting things into the tracking system without even categorizing things. There's missing information, and it's very hard to do any type of work on it. So again, that's the footwork. That's gonna be the hard work that I'm gonna do tonight. And I wanna finish that tonight. I wanna put together all that number and clean the data. And once I clean the data, then we can start looking at keywords that's being entered into the system. We can start looking at which operators are performing most of these issues that we're getting from, which affiliates are giving us the most. It's gonna be official, man. Official. And I'm kind of looking forward to it, man, because, it's testing my ability too and my ingenuity. And how am I gonna clean this data the most effective and efficient way, And ultimately, listen, these are things that you do by itself. But then all of this stuff is scalable. You understand? It's scalable because these are the type of skills that's gonna be useful for any type of business. If you can tell a business that, okay, just give me your data, and I can look at your data and tell you, where you're slacking and where you can improve, and just based off of basic little things like that, you can get fast results. So again, if I want to decrease the safety complaints, trust me, just off of the work I'm gonna do tonight, once I categorize everything, we're gonna give them so much valuable information that it's gonna initially drop. But then the more detail and the more you drill down on this data, that's gonna be as effective as it's gonna be. And again, I have a whole year to work on this stuff. And we definitely gonna do it. And that's gonna be something that I'm gonna put not necessarily on my resume, but that I could talk about. So I could go into a company, right? To any company and have proven results. I can tell you that, okay, I started doing this at this time. And once I came in, this is how much these complaints decreased. And that's proven track record right there that you can show. And that type of stuff is worth money, my people. But y'all don't hear me though. That's all I got. For that, I see ain't nobody commenting, but I see y'all with me, But I'm up out of here. This is your boy B, the outlier. This was a pretty long talk. Tonight, we got a lot of work to do, man. I'm looking forward to it. So, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to catch y'all tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, baby. 4:30 in the a.m., man. 4:30 a.m. We get it early, man. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for watching. Yeah.